I had this epiphany on the show, actually, Peace of Mind with Taraji the other day. And I was like, you know, we do all of this work for relationships with our significant others. Why don't we put that work in for ourselves? Do you realize the first relationship you have is with yourself? I'm very grateful for my position, and I know what my artistry and how important art is, and how important and how people in the art saved my life. You know, so I try not to get caught up in that kind of, because a lot of times that's ego. So I just have to put my blinders back on and stay focused on my path and what I talk to my God about and what I wanted to accomplish on this journey. And I think I'm doing a great job. I think I'm, you know, I don't try to compare myself to other people. I big up people when they make it, and do, because when one makes it, we all make it. That's how I feel. I don't compete. I love to see everybody win, you know, and I just try to stay in my lane. But it just hurts when I don't get my credit when I should. Mm-hmm. They try to go, they talk all around me, you know, and I think it's because I've always been edgy since the beginning, since I came on the scene, and whatever that is, I don't know, I'm just who I am. But they have these titles, and I noticed, you know, my manager at the time would always tell me, they said, you're too edgy, you're too this. I'm too edgy. Wait, did they not see what I put on film? Like, I can't help who I am, and I'm never going to change who I am. But whatever that character requires, I will serve it to you because I'm a trained actress, you know? But you can't judge me based on how I speak in interviews or, you know, how I walk in the room. That's me. Now, when you yell action, you're getting the character, but I'm not this character 24/7. And just because I'm that girl from around the way, I'm not going to make you, I'm comfortable with who I am. I can't help it if you're uncomfortable with that, but I'm not going to change who I am to make you feel comfortable. That's not fair. And I love Cardi B coming on the scene the way she did. I love Meg Thee Stallion owning her, loving her body, right? I feel like I'm not taking credit for anything, but those young women watch me clearly. They send me their stuff. They, you know, and they're baby. They're young enough to be my children. Literally, I could be their mother. So I know they've watched me. I know they've watched my journey and me be myself, be unapologetically myself. Somebody even tweeted one day, excuse me, Taraji P. Henson ran so Cardi could, Taraji P. walked so Cardi could run. I don't know, something like that. But that's why I see so much of myself in her, and I see so much of myself in Meg, because, you know, I'm just not gonna not be me. I don't know what to tell you. I'm a good fucking person. Like, I mean, you know, I don't know. And I don't know. It just, and Jada Pinkett, like, honestly, she was edge. Like, when she came on the scene, she was edge. And that's who I identified with. When I saw that, I was like, yes, girl, that's what I'm talking about. Because I saw myself in her. You know what I mean? And I don't know. When I came along, I don't think they quite knew what to do. They didn't understand me. I don't know. That's how I felt. It could be totally a script I'm writing in my head, but I honestly felt like for a while the industry didn't get me, and I would switch it up. And because I knew once I did Baby Boy, because I came from the hood, I was fresh off the boat. I still had a very heavy DC accent. I was like, they're going to keep sending me this stuff. And they did. I kept getting the ghetto, mama, baby girl, round the way. And I was like, they don't realize I've done Shakespeare in the Park. Like, come on. And so I would have to dodge those characters and carve out my lane. And that's what I had to do. That's what my manager said to me at the time. He was like, we got to carve this lane out for you, because at the time there weren't really no edgy characters. There were really, Jada did them all. You know what I mean? Not that that's all she could do. That's not what I'm saying. But I, like, even in Set It Off, you know what I mean? She was the turn up, you know? I just identified with her. Even at Hillman College, I saw myself in her, and I was like, when I go to Hollywood, I'm gonna be some spice, because it existed. I had that representation, but until Jada, I don't recall it. I mean, I don't want to sit here and drop names and stuff, but I'm just saying I hadn't seen that much spice and grit like that until Jada popped on the scene, you know, and that allowed me to dream and say, hey, there is a place for me in Hollywood. And she's from Baltimore. So, you know.
I was going to say, it must be a DMV thing.
Yeah, right? You know, yeah. we have, you know, where we come from. It's just like, if you come from the streets, you fight. I was never bullied. I love to bring down a bully.
So many nuggets and gems you just dropped in what you just said, and I think a lot of Black women can relate. Want to definitely expand more on that, and also talk to you about peace of mind, and just as much as you are known for what you have done in Hollywood and your illustrious acting career, I think now what you're doing in mental health is just really important. So we're going to take a quick break, come back with more gems, nuggets, wisdom from Taraji P. Henson on Jemele Hill is Unbothered. One thing that's very obvious about you, Taraji, is that you're very self-aware, and you have been very vocal about the fact that you're in therapy. You're a huge mental health advocate. You have a talk show on Facebook Watch that's starting soon that I'm going to ask you about in a moment. And as someone who is currently also in therapy and did not start until into my 40s, it can be very illuminating trying to unpack yourself. So let's start with why you decided to go to therapy.
A lot. I had been pushing through, and that's what we do. We push through, we learn to be strong. And I got to a place where I couldn't push through. It was becoming harder and harder to pull myself out of these dark spells, I like to call them, or holes. Like I could look up and be like, I want to get up, but I don't want to. I don't feel it. I don't have the energy. So when I started having that more and more, that's when I was like, something's off. And clearly, yes, depression and anxiety. And so then I was talking to Gabourey Sidibe about it. And she was like, I understand, blah, blah, blah. And I love her because she's always been very open and honest about her mental health issues and struggles. And so she turned me on to her therapist in Chicago. And I went to her, fell in love. I was like, oh, this woman gets me. It was like a breath of fresh air. And also working on, when you get into a relationship and you talk about marriage, you have to unpack. You have to unpack your trauma, because if not, it's going to show up in that relationship. And so then it became about that, because now I'm in this relationship and we're talking happily ever after. And so now I got to go work on some things, or these issues that we're having, we're going to continue to have. And so that's when I really leaned into therapy. I really leaned into therapy, especially when I was talking about when I was in my relationship. And so, of course, God, like everything doesn't work out. It didn't. And it's fine. No one hates each other. It was mutual. We're great. But it made me even want to further continue this journey with my my therapist, because I'm learning so much about myself, and I had this epiphany on the show, actually, Peace of Mind with Taraji the other day. And I was like, we do all of this work for relationships with our significant others. Why don't we put that work in for ourselves? Do you realize the first relationship you have is with yourself? You will run to marriage counseling, all the stuff you got to do with your significant other. When are you going to take that time for yourself? You have to. And then even talking to Gabourey, she was saying how if she wasn't in therapy, she don't even know if she could have allowed this engagement with her fiance. You know how many people can't even be in relationships because they haven't healed their trauma? And it's just as simple as loving yourself and nurturing the relationship with self first. That's first and foremost before you jump off and dive off into trying to create a life with someone else. And I just hate that Black people feel like The strength is in the vibrato or being strong. There is so much strength in vulnerability. Vulnerability is actually where the strength is. That's where you get the strength to come out the hole when you say, you know what, I can't. Just saying it is I can't. I don't know how to come out of the hole. That's the strength, because that's what's going to get you out of the hole. Staying in the hole and doing this, guess where you're going to be? In the hole. Throw a lifeline. I need help. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay to feel. We're humans. We should feel.
Well, all the time, my therapist is always dropping, something where I'm like, because one of the things she told me that stuck with me was that childhood lasts forever. And I was like, ooh, you're just really trying to give me something to think about. So for you, what are some of the things that maybe your therapist has said to you that, of course, you feel comfortable sharing about that just always kind of sticks with you, that like really stuck in your craw a little bit?
She told me that I write scripts. I write my own scripts in my head. And so that means if I don't have all of the information, I will run off and write a script. And it'd be wrong. It'd be the wrong narrative. It'd be the wrong story. That ain't even how we started off. You know what I mean? But Taraji done took the reins and took over the writing room. And now she's telling God how it's going to go. Right? When she said that to me and gave me this entire book about it, I was just like, that's what I do. So my thing is breathing, stopping, getting grounded, slowing my brain down, because my brain does this and my brain will wake me up out of a sleep. Oh my God. I could be comatose sleep, tired, dead tired. My brain will kick on in the wee hours and I wake up like this. Bright eyed, bushy tail, like I was never asleep, and my brain goes nuts. So my thing a lot that she tells me to do is breathe, sit down and breathe and do stuff like this to keep myself in the moment. Like if I do this, it makes me go, oh, I feel this. And that drowns out my noise. And deep breaths. When I do this, that keeps my brain from out of the writer's room.